Right, what is up everybody, Aggression here. So, I've decided to do a review on two of the products I'm using to actually record this video. Or record the video to a certain extent. So it's going to be on the Sena 20S and the audio pack, the Sena GoPro audio pack. I think pack. I can't think what the code is for it. It's got weird. I think it's a GP10. I could be wrong. But yeah, the audio pack either way. So, without going into too much detail about the 20S, because realistically, I haven't used it to its full capabilities. You know, I haven't done up to, I think it goes up to 8-way intercom. I haven't used that. I'll put the specs up on the screen so you can see them all. I mean, the battery life, the same as the SMH10, I've never had it run out on me, never. I don't think I've ever had it tell me that it's low on battery. But I mean, I use it for a couple of hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours max a day, and then it goes back on charge again. I think the battery life's like 8 hours, something like that. And most I'm ever using it for is the phone calls every now and again. I very rarely use intercom. I've used it a couple of times, usually when I've got my pillion. Is the only other time I use intercom, and then I listen to a bit of music every now and again and record a vlog. So, I mean, as I said in the SMH10 video, it barely uses any, it's barely doing a lot of stuff. So, you know, obviously the battery's going to last a hell of a lot longer than a GoPro would, because the GoPro's working a lot harder, basically. But I mean, in terms of the audio pack is phenomenal, but does have its subtle weaknesses. So I'll get onto them more so, because as I said, the 20S is fairly clean cut. You know, it's just better audio quality ever so slightly. Speakers, I'd say maybe a slight bit louder. The intercom's a bit better distance. But other than that, it's, you know, it's fairly similar to the SMH10, just a little bit better. That's all it is. And obviously newer model. So as I said, it's got a bit longer range. I think the main difference for me anyway is that the SMH10 didn't let me record in Ultra HD voice mode, whereas the 20S does. So a little bit better audio quality. But yeah, I mean, realistically, if you're marrying them up, there's not many differences for what I use it for anyway. But I mean, when you look at them on eBay, the price difference, if you go sort of do lowest price plus shipping, I think I looked them up yesterday because a friend of mine's thinking of getting them now. The SMH10 is like £160 for a single pack, and then the 20S is like £180, so it's like £20. So it's just a divvy up between if you're going to use it for all the other added things that it has over the SMH10, and if you can warrant spending an extra £20. I mean, to be fair, if it was me, again, I'd probably just go fuck it, spend the extra 20 quid and just get the best one out. That's how I am mentally. But yeah, it's one of them ones. The audio pack is phenomenal, it really is. So I mean, obviously what it allows me to do is, say it is wireless, but it does have a connection of some sort. So basically, where you would plug in the mic adapter, there's like a weird two-way attachment. So the audio pack itself, you need an extended back door. I think they do sell it with it. But fortunately enough, I bought, you know, like one of the extended battery packs from eBay, a cheapy one, and that's the exact same size as the audio pack. So you can't unfortunately use both at the same time. So when I swapped out the audio pack, the back door fitted perfectly and allowed me to have the audio pack on. So obviously still having the lens protection, which is one of the most vital things in my eyes for an action camera, is lens protection. You know, the odds of it getting hit by a stone are probably fairly slim, but you never know. So that was one of the vital things for me. But as I said, fortunately enough, the case fit both in. So I think I did make a couple of cuts so that I can actually turn modes on and off while I'm on the move. So I've got it slightly loose, the mounts for the camera, so I can turn it out towards sort of that way and access the buttons and just turn audio mode off and things like that. Which I'll get onto why I need that in a couple of minutes. So I mean, the connection itself is sort of about that long, and it's the same port that you'd plug in. That is so illegal. That you would plug your... Is that a two-stroke? Yeah, it is, Piaggio. I see it, I don't even know why I asked. Smells really nice. Yeah, so you plug it into where you'd plug your mic adapter, and then into the audio pack. The audio pack clamps onto the back of the GoPro. And then there's another, exactly the same type of cable slot, I suppose you'd call it, that you can plug in again above the audio pack's normal output. So there's like two outputs on the audio pack, like the GoPro has, but they're exactly the same port. So the bottom one is what connects the GoPro to the audio pack, and then allows the audio pack to transfer the audio that it's receiving from the intercom wirelessly into the GoPro using that connection. And then the port above the second port on the audio pack is for charging. So you plug it into there and it charges the audio pack, which has its own independent battery. It doesn't drain on the GoPro. And then where it's connected to the GoPro through that port still, it will charge your GoPro as well, which is good. You don't have to separately charge them and have two different plugs running and all that rubbish, so it's a good idea. Now you've got two modes on the audio pack. You've got mic and power. Now, depending on which way you pair them, I pair mine, I can't think now. There's two ways to pair them. You can either do intercom pairing and pair them, or you do phone pairing and pair them. Now, I think it's phone paired. I could be wrong, I really can't remember. I should have slowed down a bit more than that. Whoops. Yeah, I can't think of... It may be intercom pairing, but whichever way it works, basically one allowed me to do a lot more than the other. One allows me to actually record in Ultra HD voice mode, the other one didn't. And also, when I did one of them, it wouldn't let me use the phone button. So I think it's intercom pairing. I'm pretty sure it's intercom pairing. So yeah, you pair it that way. Now what happens is, as I said, you've got the two ports, two switches, sorry. So one's mic and one's power. So when power's on, if you connected it the way I have, which again I'm pretty sure is intercom, but I'm not 100% sure, power will connect it again wirelessly via Bluetooth, and you'll get a voice prompt saying obviously GoPro pack connected, and if it is connected the way I said, UHD voice mode, which is Ultra HD, obviously voice recording, which is phenomenal. It really is. When you go back to the first ever vlog I did using the mic, I mean, granted I didn't have the best quality mic out there, but you know, you really notice the difference in audio quality. And obviously for a wireless system, I probably could have got a really good quality mic, but then it would have that really fragile GoPro mic, and mine rejected third-party ones. It just absolutely hated them. So yeah, that was my only option. So I switched to this one anyway, and it works really, really well, as I said. I mean, you do notice every now and again I get really weird interference and sort of like static and crackling, and I really don't know what it is. I tried to clean the ports out after I noticed it happens, and I think it's done the job. You notice in my last vlog on my bike, it's not like that, and hopefully this one doesn't turn out crackly as well. So I think I've solved that. That's just probably dust and dirt and whatever else that's getting in there, and just causing a bit of interference. I'm hoping. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it works phenomenally. So yeah, the power button turns on your Ultra HD voice mode, which then just starts recording normally. If you get a phone call come through on the intercom, it cuts out all audio. That's one issue. So if I had a phone call come through now and I answered it, audio would cut out completely and it would be silent, it kind of bugs me. It should sort of switch to mic, which is the internal GoPro mic. So that would, obviously it'd have quite a fair bit of wind noise, even though I've got the casing on, but at least it wouldn't be no audio. So of course that is what the mic button does. It switches to the internal GoPro mic. So obviously if you're doing a vlog like I am now, that mic button is always off, just to reduce wind noise, because it will combine both. So you'll get my voice and you'll get a fuck ton of wind noise above it, or behind it, whichever. So it just sounds like shit. So that one's always off unless I'm not intending on doing a vlog. Now, this is one of the most frustrating things when it comes to this system for me. And a lot of people have addressed this, and I have actually very recently sent a message to Sena, and they are 100% aware of it, and they're very helpful. You know, they got back to me within a couple of hours, I think within 12 hours, which, you know, they should, but I mean, for a big company, you know, that's pretty good to have got a reply that quickly. And they're trying to do it. I think obviously they've got a tech team on it and things like that. But basically what happens is, when you're running it like I am now, usually what would happen is I would push the jog dial and then pause, obviously when you hold it down, it's pause and play for music. So I'd be able to listen to music. It doesn't do that. So it will actually, say if I did it now, it would actually play the music, but it would go nowhere effectively. So it would be play mode on my phone, but the audio would just get lost somehow. Because the GoPro audio pack recording audio takes, I can't think of the word, I've lost my train of thought really badly. What's the word? I can't think, I really can't think. It takes over either way. So it's, I actually can't think, and I can't get off, can't finish what I'm saying without that. Oh fuck's sake, you know what I mean? It won't allow you to play music if you're recording it that way, basically. So the only thing you can do is turn power off and put mic on. That's the only other way, unless you want no audio, which obviously is shit. So that main problem is, for me, and it's the worst thing. Say now if I was in that mode, I'd obviously be recording, I'd have a bit of wind noise, it wouldn't be too bad. But then say something happens and I want to talk about it, I've then got to pull the camera to the side, because I've adapted the casing to be able to do that now, and that's the reason I've done it. So that then I flick one off as best I can with my chunky glove fingers. You know, the buttons are realistically probably on either side of my finger, so it's quite hard to actually get there and do it. And flick mic off and turn the other one on, power on, to then let me start talking about what's just happened. It shouldn't be like that, you know. For the audio pack, £100 worth retail, and then obviously my intercom being 200 and something pounds, and I bought it, you're talking like a £300 system or setup. You shouldn't have to do all that farting around, you know. So obviously when I'm riding around, usually if I'm on my way to work and things like that, I like listening to a bit of music in the background. Now, as I said, that's all well and good, and I will have it in the other mode, so that then if I record some footage, there's some audio going on. So that's why some of the clips before have got no audio, because probably I forgot to turn them on after doing a vlog. So it frustrates me, because then it leaves you with, you might get a good bit of footage, but you've got no audio on it, so then it sort of makes it a bit shitty. Sometimes I will decide to upload it if it's good footage, you know. If there's something good there or something funny and I want to upload it, I will try and upload it, and obviously I'll put a caption saying it. But it's just, you know, for that amount of money you spend, you shouldn't have to sort of compromise that way. And it is just a simple case of multitasking the audio, because normally, say for instance now if I was listening to music and I get a phone call come through, I click the phone button, answer the phone call, it pauses the music, and then once the phone call ends, it replays the music. It should be the same case. Say now if I'm doing a vlog and I want to finish the vlog now, so say like I finished, I would have to turn the button off. So obviously twist the GoPro to the side, turn the button off, put it in the other mode if I wanted any audio recorded, and then play my music. But instead, what I should be able to do is just hold down the jog dial like you normally would until it plays, and then the music automatically takes control. That's what should happen, but it doesn't. And that's the problem a lot of people have had, you know, like, and it depends how accessible your camera is. I mean, mine's probably in one of the most accessible places, but the position it's at, where it's so angled back, I can't actually get behind it right now. So I have to physically twist it all the way out to the side to get any access to the back. And, you know, even so, I'm still riding along. I'm just reading that. Yeah. So it's just a pain in the arse, you know. To spend that much money on something, it shouldn't be like that. It should just be, it should be perfect. It really should. And that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to unify it all, and it has to a degree. But at the at the compromise of, you know, like not being able to listen to music or to, you know, sort of pull over or things like that to switch between modes. You know, it's a unified wireless system, so you shouldn't have to. There should be some way around it, but there isn't. I've tried everything, and a lot of people said that it's because of iPhones. They act quite funny with Sena products, and I agree, they are a little bit more iffy with them. But I've tried it with an Android phone and it didn't work at all. So it's not the case of it just being an iPhone. And as I said, it is a very well-known problem. If you go on their forums, there's multiple threads about it. The audio multitasking between music and a vlog on the normal power mode. But that being said, everything else works pristinely. It's just the addition of the audio pack where it wasn't designed in situ. That's why I think there's a couple of issues with it, because everything else, as I said, say if I've not got this audio pack connected, I could have music playing right now, and then I could push the phone button, tell Siri to locate or get Google Maps or get directions to, I don't know, McDonald's, and it would tell me, and I'd still have the music playing in the background, and then the music would dull out as he's telling me what direction to take, or in 500 yards, blah blah blah. That it works so perfectly. It's amazing. Everything else on it is brilliant. So the Sena 20S is a phenomenal product, as does the SMH10. I can't fault either of them. They're both amazing. But the main point of this vlog was the audio pack, and I have to address, you know, them a couple of little things, because it pisses me off a lot. For what it is, it shouldn't be like that. It should be perfect. But as I said, other than that, it really is. You know, it does exactly what it's supposed to do, which is always good. You know, like the audio quality, when it's not being a bit funny, is perfect. You know, the audio quality is phenomenal. And as I said, as long as I mean, if you're not bothered about listening to music, then you'd be fine, really. That's the only thing that sort of gets me about it, is that I have to go through all that faffing around just to do a vlog. So, you know, there's pros and cons to both of it. But I mean, I personally prefer it to a wired setup with the audio mic adapter and things like that, because they were so fucking fragile. I think I went through 3 genuine GoPro ones within the space of a few months. And I don't even necessarily think it was because I knocked it. I think the first one I did, after about a month or so, I knocked it, and it sort of bent a little bit, and then it got a little bit worse, a little bit worse, a little bit worse. But then the other two were just, I don't even know what happened. I just one day looked at it and it was a little bit crooked, and I don't know if that's maybe from the wind forcing it back at speed. I mean, of course, obviously maybe not so much on my bike, but when obviously I've done other test rides, I think I did do a couple of test rides with a mic adapter setup. I might be wrong, and they might possibly maybe not even uploaded for ones, but it was a more fragile setup in my eyes. Whereas this is a more, obviously it's wireless, so there's no real connection issues apart from that one between the audio pack and the GoPro, which can be a bit iffy, which I think is causing me the problems, which I've hopefully sorted. Them kids are like fucking absolutely gobsmacked. I love having a thingy visor. You just can't see my face, and then obviously I've got my little moustache. That's another thing. If I wasn't recognisable enough, I have a moustache on my visor. If you go on my Instagram accounts, which is another thing, a big shout out to myself on Instagram and Facebook. Go follow me on there, because the sub count's rising on YouTube, but I've got like no followers on Facebook pages and Twitter and all that stuff, you know, and it's obviously, they're all linked, so when I upload a video it lets you know, so it just keeps you up to date with my stuff. And of course there are pictures I post on Instagram and Twitter that obviously I can't post on YouTube. I'm not just going to post a random photo on YouTube. I don't think you can, or just do a video of 10 seconds of one photo. I wouldn't do that. So there's things you're going to miss out on, especially in the coming months with my projects. There's things you'll miss out on that you won't see obviously on YouTube. So you go follow me on there, because you will miss out. I'm trying to think what else to say about the audio pack. I mean, as I said, it runs off its own battery, so there's no problems with battery life. It doesn't affect the GoPro's battery life. And as I said, it all connects itself. But once you pair them, you know, all you do is flick the button, give it a couple of seconds, and it gives you a voice prompt letting you know it's connected. So it does everything for you. It really is awesome. And so it should be, you know, for the amount of money, it should be perfect. And that's the one thing I think, if they sorted out the multitasking problem, and they allowed you to, obviously when you push pause and play, they allowed the music to take over the audio recording, I think it would be the most perfect system out there. That's the only realistic fault I can find with it, that isn't sort of individual to myself, you know. Like obviously the audio issues can just be silly things, like I said, like it's a bit dirty, but that's the only sort of universally shared problem I've had, you know. And as well, if you've both got intercoms, unfortunately, again, this is a software thing they will probably get around to, but say if I'm intercomming my pillion or even my friend with me, with a Sena product, it might even be any device, I'm pretty sure it is any intercom, as long as I'm intercomming them and I have myself recording on power, so obviously how I normally record a vlog, it will record their audio seamlessly, so there's no syncing, there's none of that rubbish, it does it for you. As I said, the only problem is it's not Ultra HD voice recording, but then it would be the same normal quality that you would get if you was doing it, say, on a drift with just, you know, your passenger or your friend's audio and then mixing them together. It's maintenance free, I don't have to sync it at all, it does it all for me, and it's perfect. Again, it works seamlessly. So it's sort of like the creme de la creme of vlogging equipment. I mean, you know, it's kind of fortunate that I started out with a GoPro, but I like them because they're more versatile. They can do a little bit more things, they're a little bit easier to mount in loads of various positions, so that's why I went for a GoPro anyway. And I don't even think I knew about drift, really. I probably did, but yeah, it's sort of fortunate that I started out with a GoPro because it is the one that allows me to do that. Now, having said that, there's no reason in my eyes why, if you've got a Sena, you can't do it on your drift, because it's just connections. It's purely related to connections. So as long as you've got, I think it's a mini USB, I think. So as long as you get a mini USB wire that goes into the audio pack, and then whatever, I'm pretty sure the drift is a mini USB for the audio port, and you plug it into that, it should work exactly the same. That's the only connection. But then the only thing is, it wouldn't sort of clip onto the back of your drift. You'd have to put it in your pocket or something like that, and it would have a wire. But I'm talking, it's the same size as a GoPro in width and height, and it's not width, sorry. Yeah, I've got a hole in my gloves. In, what would it be? If he's revving his engine, he's a dickhead. In width, it's probably sort of like probably about that thick. And the rest of it's the same size as a GoPro, so it's tiny. So realistically, you could probably sellotape it to your drift if you really wanted to. But the point is, it would probably still work, and then you'd get Ultra HD voice recording, and you'd get all the pros of the audio pack. It's money well spent in my eyes for what it is. It's amazing. Yeah, it's a truly phenomenal bit of kit. So I definitely recommend that. He was probably on his phone. So yeah, I can't think what else I was trying to say. And the bars got wonky on me there. No, I think I just slipped out of gear, or I think I pushed down a little bit on it accidentally. But yeah, so anyway, the audio pack is perfect, and I can't recommend Sena's. That was a big bump. Like I stood up. I can't recommend Sena's intercoms enough. You know, they are just fucking amazing. Since having one, I could never go back to not being able to listen to music and all that stuff. It's the best. It is truly the best. And again, it's all wireless, and it can all be used on voice prompts and stuff like that. So it's just so good. It's so easy. It just does everything for you, like I'm saying, and especially with the audio pack and vlogs. It does everything. So they're definitely worth. I mean, check out in more detail. And as I said, I'll put specs up as best I can on battery life and all the things that I can find on them for you. But I can't recommend them enough. And as I said, if you can live with that one little thing, or you can get by the way I do, then it's a 9 out of 10 with that fault, and it would definitely be a 10 out of 10 easily if they sorted that out. And as I said as well, Sena are amazing. They're really, really helpful, and they response is amazing. They get back to you so quickly. Am I still recording? I can't see. I am. Fucking smashing. Yeah, as I said, I've had a couple of issues with the battery life, so I just tried to keep charging this as much as I can to just pump it full of life. So hopefully it lasts the entirety of this vlog. Entirety, even, not entirety. So, yeah, there's that. What was I going to say? There was something I was going to say. I had an issue with my Sena, and basically what happened was the audio started to get really dull and really quiet. Now I just thought I've sort of buggered up the speaker wires, maybe where they're at a twisted angle. So if you jiggled them, it would actually work. So obviously, you know, that's what it was. So eventually they stopped working completely. So I replaced the speakers, which cost me about £30, which I was sort of quite pissed off about. But you know, it's what you'd realistically expect it to be when you think about it. But they unfortunately didn't fix it. So I messaged them and I said, you know, this is what's happening. I have tried a different set of speakers. And it turned out to be the main unit itself that was causing an issue. What I did is, as I said, fortunately enough, I've got a friend that has a 20S. So I just put his main unit onto my speakers, and sure enough, both sets of speakers worked. So I've got a spare set now. But what I did is they said, you know, no problem at all, send them off to us. I think they even covered my postage costs to them. I can't remember. But they sent me a brand new in the box single unit 20S with all the accessories. So tell a lie, I don't have a spare set of speakers. I sent them back the original 40 set, so I have the spare brand new set. But yeah, as I said, they replaced everything. They gave me all the accessories, and obviously I just sent them back the mic, the speakers, and the main unit. And they sent me back a whole new set. So you know, I couldn't be happy enough. And of course, yeah, as soon as it came, installed it, and it worked perfectly fine, as I knew it would. So it got to the point where it was just so quiet you couldn't even hear it. You know, you really couldn't hear it. You literally have to really concentrate and actually have the speaker pressed your ear out of the helmet to actually hear anything at all, even at full blast volume. Yeah, it was terrible. So they sorted it out for me, and I mean, it took literally 2 weeks. I think 2-3 weeks. I mean, of course, they said it'd take a bit longer, but it didn't. It got here so quickly, and I mean, that's 2-3 weeks, including me sending it to them and then sending it back. I mean, within however long it took, again, but maybe about sort of a week and a half, a week, they said, you know, yeah, we've received it, blah, blah, blah. We're going to send you out another unit. Should get to you by X date. And it came, as I said, crazy time before that. You know, like I'm talking a month before what they said it would, or something like that. So, just what an amazing company, you know, to get that sort of support is very rare. It's this cab in front of me, his brakes are squeaking. I thought there was a car behind me, he's squeaking away. I thought, how fucking close is it? So yeah, you know, that amount of support from a company that big is amazing in my eyes. I mean, you know, say if you message Sony about their TV and Microsoft and places like that, fucking hell, they're terrible. I mean, I've had problems with all different types of tech in my life, Dell and all that shit, and they're fucking shit in comparison to how quick Sena is and how professional they are. I mean, obviously they should be, but you know, they're so helpful. So I cannot recommend Sena's products enough, alone for all their own qualities, and then their support is amazing as well. So you know, it's the full package, it really is. So definitely check them out if you haven't got them, because they are really worth getting. So I'm going to sign off on this one, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.